Pain doesn't just visit, it settles in. It changes a man. It sharpens the edges, cools the warmth, and turns loud dreams into quiet survival. But for a Sigma male, suffering does something different. It doesn't destroy him. It shapes him. It doesn't silence him. It teaches him when silence is power. And after enough suffering, the Sigma male walks through the world in a way that nobody else can understand. Sigma males already live differently. They stand apart from the crowd, not above it, but away from it. They don't follow rules unless those rules make sense. They don't chase leadership, but they often become leaders. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. They protect their peace like other men protect their image. And most of all, they don't need constant validation to feel secure. But what happens when a Sigma male suffers deeply? When he's been betrayed, rejected, broken, or abandoned? When he's faced hardship after hardship and carried his pain in silence because he didn't trust anyone enough to share it? What happens is something powerful and something dangerous. That suffering doesn't just leave scars. It rewires him. It hardens certain parts and deepens others. His mind gets sharper. His instincts get stronger. But his heart? That's where things change most. He still feels, but now he filters. He still cares, but now he calculates. He becomes more cautious, more quiet, more private. He's not bitter. He's not angry. He's careful. He's learned that not everyone deserves access to his emotions. He's been open before, and it cost him. He's been honest, and it was used against him. So now the man who once shared easily now says little. And yet he sees everything. When you meet this kind of Sigma male, you know it. There's something in his eyes, a mix of strength and sadness, stillness and storm. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, it lands heavy. Not because he's trying to sound deep, but because he's lived through depths most people will never touch. He doesn't ask for sympathy. He doesn't tell his story unless there's a reason. He just keeps moving, thinking, building, healing on his own time. And every scar on his soul becomes part of his armor. This video isn't about feeling bad for the Sigma male. It's about understanding what he becomes after life has tested him too many times. When he's suffered too much, his traits shift. They evolve. Some become defenses. Others become strengths. All of them are real. So if you've ever wondered why some men are so hard to read, why they feel intense but stay quiet, why they seem distant but present, this will explain it. Here are 6 traits of a Sigma male who suffered too much. Each one tells a story. Each one came at a cost. And each one reveals a piece of the man behind the silence. Trait number 1. Hardened compassion. He used to care with an open heart. He used to believe that kindness always came back. That giving love, support and patience would lead to the same in return. But after years of being taken advantage of, ignored, betrayed and misunderstood, he changed. He didn't stop caring. He stopped showing it the same way. Now his compassion is there, but it's guarded. Quiet. Controlled. He still wants to help, but only when it makes sense. Only when it's safe. Only when he knows he won't be drained in the process. This is hardened compassion. It's not coldness, it's protection. The older version of him would pour his heart into broken people, thinking he could fix them. The version of him now? He sees the cracks and sometimes he walks away. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's learned that some people choose to stay broken. He can sit with someone in pain and not say a word. He knows how to be present without taking the pain on himself. He's not trying to be a savior. He's trying to survive. And he knows that real empathy isn't always about fixing, it's about witnessing. And sometimes it's about knowing when to step back. He doesn't hand out second chances like candy. He doesn't feel guilty for protecting his peace. He can love someone and still keep them at a distance. He can help someone and still walk away when it becomes unhealthy. That's what pain taught him. That being kind doesn't mean being used. That being caring doesn't mean being open to everyone. That being loving doesn't mean sacrificing your own mental health. People who don't know his past might think he's heartless. But those who do know what he's survived understand why he moves the way he does. His compassion didn't die. It matured. It developed a filter. It became intentional. And when he does care, when he does show love, it's powerful. It's rare. It's honest. Because he doesn't do it lightly anymore. He doesn't say, "I'm here for you," unless he means it. He doesn't offer help unless he's ready to follow through. He doesn't fake emotional support. He gives it when it's real and when it's respected. This trait makes his presence unique. He's the kind of man who might be the first to notice when someone's hurting, but the last to say something until the moment is right. And when he does speak, it cuts through the noise. That's hardened compassion. Not soft. Not bitter. Just honest, strong and careful with where it's placed. Trait number 2, silent walls and selective vulnerability. He's built walls, not to keep people out, but to keep himself safe. He didn't always have them. There was a time when he was more open, when he believed that sharing his pain would bring him closer to others. But that changed the day someone used his truth against him, or laughed when he opened up, or walked away when he was at his lowest. Now the walls are up, quiet, unseen, but solid. He still talks. He still laughs. He still connects. But there's always a part of him he keeps hidden. That part is reserved for the few people who've proven they won't hurt him. And even then he holds back. Not because he's playing games, but because his soul remembers what betrayal feels like. Selective vulnerability means he doesn't fake openness. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't spill his story to anyone who asks. He watches. He waits. And when the time feels right and the person feels safe, he slowly opens a door. If someone forces him to open up before he's ready, he'll shut down. Quietly. No anger. No argument. Just distance. He's not trying to be mysterious. He's trying to be careful. You see it in his body language. The way he listens more than he talks. The way he nods but doesn't always respond. The way he gives space, not because he's disinterested, but because he's watching, learning, testing the room. In close relationships, this trait is both a challenge and a gift. His partner may feel like he's hard to reach, that he's always holding back. But when he does finally open up, when he finally says what's been locked away, it's powerful. Raw. Undiluted. He doesn't do surface level. He doesn't do small talk. He wants depth, but he wants safety first. And if that safety isn't there, he'll stay behind the wall. Some people mistake this for being emotionally unavailable. But it's the opposite. He's deeply emotional, so deep that he can't risk throwing his heart into unsafe hands again. This is why he moves slow in new relationships. Why he guards his past like a secret. Why he sometimes disappears when things get too intense too fast. It's not because he doesn't feel. It's because he feels too much, and he's still learning how to protect that part of himself. Silent walls. Selective vulnerability. These aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of survival. Of someone who's been broken and put himself back together, alone. And now he's not risking that kind of fall again unless he truly believes it's safe. Trait number 3, emotional scar memory. A Sigma male who's suffered too much doesn't forget. He forgives sometimes, but he never forgets. Every painful moment he's lived through, every betrayal, every failure, every time he was left alone when he needed someone, gets stored inside him. Not in bitterness, but in memory. Deep memory. He carries emotional scars the way a soldier carries battlefield experience. Quietly. Constantly. They don't define him, but they shape how he sees the world. He's not the same man he used to be. That version of him died the day he realized the world doesn't always give back what you put in. These scars don't go away with time. They don't fade just because life moves on. Instead, they become part of how he thinks, part of how he moves. He remembers the people who left. He remembers the moments that broke him. Not because he wants to dwell, but because those memories keep him sharp. This memory gives him caution. It keeps him from falling into the same traps. He doesn't trust words anymore. He trusts actions. He doesn't believe promises until he sees proof. He's heard, "I'll be there for you," too many times to take it seriously without consistency behind it. He also remembers how it felt to suffer in silence, to cry in the dark, to ask for help and hear nothing back. That pain shaped him. It taught him to expect nothing and build everything on his own. It made him stronger, but it also made him distant. That emotional scar memory affects every part of his life. In relationships, he's hesitant. In friendships, he's slow to open. In business, he always has a backup plan. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. He knows what happens when you give too much too soon. He's been there. He's done that. And he paid the price. Now he moves differently. He guards his energy. He protects his time. He watches for signs of fake loyalty, and when he sees it, he walks away without a word. This memory also gives him empathy. When he sees others in pain, he recognizes it instantly, because he's felt it too. He might not say much, but he understands. And sometimes just that understanding makes him the one person someone else feels safe around. But make no mistake, his memory is sharp. If you've hurt him once, he won't forget. He might never bring it up. He might even smile and move on. But the trust is gone. And once trust is gone, it doesn't return. That's why he doesn't reconnect easily. Doesn't reopen closed doors. Doesn't respond to empty apologies. Because he remembers what it took to heal, and he's not risking that wound again. These scars, they're lessons. They're blueprints. And they've turned him into someone who doesn't make the same mistake twice. Trait number 4, relentless self-dependence. When he needed people the most, they weren't there. When he cried out, no one listened. When he broke down, he had to rebuild himself. And over time, that pattern taught him one brutal truth. The only person he can fully rely on is himself. This truth didn't come from pride. It came from pain. From being let down over and over again. From watching people talk big but disappear when things got real. From learning the hard way that many people love convenience, not commitment. Now he doesn't ask for help unless he absolutely has to. He handles problems on his own. He carries burdens silently. Not because he enjoys it, but because depending on others has cost him too much. This kind of self-dependence is rare. It's not surface-level confidence. It's not about looking strong. It's real. Built through sleepless nights, silent tears, and moments when quitting felt easier than continuing. But he continued. Alone. And that changed him. He no longer feels the need to explain himself. He doesn't expect others to understand his path. He just walks it. Quietly. Focused. Determined. He doesn't wait for motivation. He doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't wait for perfect timing. If something needs to get done, he does it. If a dream needs to be built, he starts building it. If a problem needs solving, he breaks it down, finds the weak point, and handles it. He doesn't complain much. He doesn't vent often. He knows most people don't really listen, they just wait to speak. So instead of sharing his struggles, he puts his head down and pushes through. That's his rhythm now. And while some might see that as isolation, for him it's survival. Relying on himself means he won't be left empty-handed. It means he won't be shocked when people let him down, because he's not expecting anything. This also makes him incredibly disciplined. He sets high standards for himself, and he sticks to them. He doesn't need outside pressure. He is the pressure. He keeps his word to himself. That's rare. But there's a cost. It's lonely sometimes. It's heavy. There are nights when he wishes someone could carry the weight with him. But then he remembers what it felt like when he needed that, and nobody showed up. So he keeps going. Not because he wants to prove anything to the world, but because he promised himself he'd never be weak again. And he keeps his promises. That's relentless self-dependence. It's more than being independent. It's about survival. And the Sigma male who suffered too much knows that survival is not guaranteed. It's earned, one painful lesson at a time. Trait number 5. Inner fire and hidden ambition. People think the quiet ones aren't ambitious. That if a man doesn't brag about his goals, he must not have any. But the Sigma male who suffered too much? He burns on the inside. Quietly. Constantly. He doesn't talk about his dreams. He builds them. Alone. While others are sharing every move on social media, he's working in silence. Not because he's secretive, but because he knows how it feels to fail in public. To be laughed at. To be doubted. Now he lets the results speak. He lets the outcomes do the talking. He has no interest in impressing people. He's interested in mastery. Completion. Excellence. And that fire inside him comes from pain. Pain gave him purpose. It woke him up. It pushed him beyond the surface-level grind. He doesn't just want money or attention, he wants freedom. He wants to build a life where he never has to depend on anyone again. A life where nobody can pull the rug out from under him. This ambition is quiet but powerful. It shows up in how early he wakes up, how focused he is when he works, how consistent he is when nobody's watching. He doesn't need applause. He needs results. He doesn't need praise. He needs peace. And peace for him comes from knowing he's moving forward, even if the world never says thank you. That fire inside him never goes out. It might dim on hard days, but it never disappears. It keeps him pushing, creating, evolving. And if you ask him what drives him, he might just smile. He won't tell you everything. Because the truth is that fire comes from things he doesn't like to revisit. Old pain, past failures, betrayals, losses. Things that still live inside him, just beneath the surface. But instead of letting those things break him, he uses them. He lets them fuel his grind. His ambition is personal. It's not about showing off. It's about staying ready, staying strong, staying untouchable. He's not chasing attention. He's chasing legacy. That's the difference. Trait number 6. Deep awareness of human darkness. When you've been hurt enough times, You stop seeing people the way you used to. You start noticing things. Small shifts in tone. Fake smiles. Promises that don't match behavior. And for the Sigma male who's suffered too much, this awareness becomes one of his sharpest tools and one of his heaviest burdens. He doesn't see the world through rose-colored glasses anymore. That lens shattered a long time ago. Now he sees people as they are, not as they pretend to be. He's watched kindness turn into manipulation. He's seen trust used like a weapon. He's felt love that came with conditions and loyalty that vanished the moment he struggled. So now he doesn't judge people by their words. He studies their patterns. He doesn't assume good intentions, he waits for proof. It's not that he expects the worst in everyone, but he prepares for it. This awareness didn't come from books or advice. It came from surviving betrayal, from being lied to by people he once protected, from watching how quickly some people change when they have nothing left to gain. And because of this, he walks with caution. Not fear, caution. He chooses his battles. He chooses his friends. He chooses when to speak and when to disappear. He's not paranoid. He's experienced. He's learned that pretending people are always good doesn't protect you, it weakens you. So he trusts slowly. He listens more than he talks. And when someone shows him who they really are, he believes them the first time. But this awareness also gives him a kind of quiet power. He's hard to manipulate, hard to fool, hard to corner. Because he's been through enough to recognize games the moment they start. He sees the selfishness behind fake generosity. He hears the insecurity behind loud confidence. He notices when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes. And while most people brush these things off, he pays attention. Always. This trait can make him seem distant, like he's hard to reach. But the truth is, he's filtering. He's watching for realness. He's looking for truth. And when he finds it, he's loyal, deep, and present. But if he senses dishonesty, he's gone. No warning. No explanation. Just gone. This deep awareness of human darkness also gives him compassion. Because he knows what it feels like to hide pain, to pretend you're okay, to smile when you're breaking. So when he sees that in others, he doesn't judge. He understands. But that understanding doesn't mean access. He can care from a distance. He can support without inviting chaos into his space. That's how he protects himself now. By seeing clearly. By choosing wisely. By never ignoring his gut. And his gut? It's been trained by fire. A Sigma male who's suffered too much walks through life differently. He's not louder. He's not tougher. He's just more aware. More guarded. More focused. And every trait he carries was earned through pain, not imagined, not copied, but lived. He doesn't want sympathy. He wants truth. He wants peace. He wants space to move how he moves, without being judged or pulled back into the noise. If you are that man, or if you know one, understand this: suffering didn't make him weak. It made him precise. It made him thoughtful. It made him deep. So let him be what he is. And if you ever get close enough to see past the silence, respect what it took for him to survive.